Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna Priya. This is the Human Colony Hukalo webinar. It is Saturday, the 14th of January, 2023. I was going to say 2014, 2023. Welcome. We have with us a very full room, and hi, everyone, and very dear friend Jim Charles here.
Hello.
And hi. Can I get everyone to mute their microphones just in case some other sounds are coming out? That would be great. So we'll start off with some announcements, and then we'll go into requests, well, prayers, and then some requests if we can. So Angie, take it away. Let me put you on the
Excuse me. Thank you very much, everyone. We have our next class scheduled. It's actually in 2 weeks, and it is Tarot Mastery class. The class is from 1:30 to 5:30 on both Saturday and Sunday, January 28th and 29th. You can sign up and register for the class at classes@hukalo.org. The cost for the class is $150. If you send classes@hukalo.org a message, I will get everything out on how to register for that class.
Okay, perfect. Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And then we will start with some prayers. Let me get Jim on screen here. Is he there? What's happened? Where did our Jim go?
Hi.
There he is. Okay. All right, let's get you. All right, how about if everyone turns off their camera, and then we can just have the two people that one's doing the prayer and one's not. So we'll go with who's still on. We'll do Yana first, Wendy, Barbara, and then Susan. Okay, and then just turn your camera off when you're done. Kat, I'm going to ask you to turn your camera off. He always goes away, leaves his camera on. So turn him off, and I'm turn mine off, and we're good to go. Okay.
Want me to channel now? Do blessing.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Do your blessing.
Thank you. Okay. Stelak ort hantanaya ke estel oite hantayataka art. Hante oi haike aite nuko ort nea. Haite o ort hamaka aitaka ai eha teke te lara te aite teke te a hast hantaka ast hantayanata tert haye teke a. Thank you.
Allow the spirit of love to fall upon you and strengthen you and guide you during this time. Let the information flow through you and connect to you. Let all things that are a blessing come to you. Remember to accept all blessings, for if you give blessings and you receive blessings, this is an exchange that is beautiful. Keep all things in mind that are good and positive. Let love flow through you and out through you. It is a time for great love and understanding one with another.
Thank you. Susan, go ahead.
Oh, I thought I was last, but that's okay. I can go.
I'm going with the flow. So.
All right. Okay. Toa sia kotohia ia sikua sa ia tatua ia ke toa sia hukua si te tia itia si ke toa ia sakata hua sia hua sikia ia toa ia sia titia hia sia ko ha sia kotohia titia ko itia ia siko itia iko hia sia ka ia tatua ia siketia hua sikia ito hia sia ia ko ia sia ia toa ia sia ia kio Kitia. Blessings.
Keep your mind on those things that are positive and good. Focus yourself on a place where you know that you can succeed. Focus yourself in the world in a place where you can help others. Focus yourself in the realms of kindness and understanding. Remember to emote that of God, for other people will see it within you and wonder what strange power this is, because the world is dark and is not kind and is usually convoluted with many different ideas of what good and bad is. Keep your mind focused on that which is the most positive.
Thank you. Barbara.
Satahata hiana ko shawahi, takashi mana kuhana, kihata katahe atoko shana, kitia maka hana kushoya, kihana hiano doro, kihama hana kishiana, koahana hitia pata, kuno hoana hati, kiata hona bandata, kiata. Namaste.
It is time for everyone to expand and bring in to themselves that which is of a higher level of understanding. It is time for everyone to know that they are of a greater use to the world than they are at this moment. God's understanding of each and every one of you is greater than what you may feel or may seem. He is wanting great things from all of you. So focus on the greatness that is within you.
Thank you. That's just Wendy.
Atahuyan ya raka kurian ya kedi tikudi ramara tikudi atahira na ta uji griapa atakdiana ma atatuyan nara tahi tatuyan ma ahi jua manara katukuriya ma iyan no tukdiana na ira tatuyan na ayo hanira tatagya nara tatayina undan ya tatakdiyan ya tapagdiyan ya tatakdiya. Namaste.
The God of pure love looks upon you and sees that there are many good things within you. He is not looking for the negativity within you. He is looking to see what goodness you can bring to the earth. He is looking to see what brightness you can bring to each and every one that is around you, what guidance you can bring to the earth, what knowledge you can bring to the earth that would help people to understand their situations and understand their being more so that they can live and grow and develop in better ways. God is there and he is wanting to be a part of each and every one.
Thank you. Okay, we have quite some requests now, so let me just go through them. Saphira would like to talk to someone who can talk about the pole shifts. Wendy wants Shayna Ra, the golden dragon, who's a time traveler. Angie's requesting Elijah. Shamuel from Susan. Braden is requesting Sobek. Susan's also requesting Danu, Angus, or a Celtic god. There was someone who called out unicorns and Shell. And let's see. Who else? Grindel, Uriel, and Braden. Obalaye, Obaluyay.
Who is that?
I don't know. It's a Celtic god. He's also requesting Celtic god Mananan. But who is Obalaye, Braden? Can you unmute and answer? That sounds like a voodoo god. It's an African god.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't respond, but Merlin and
okay.
Dragon in, yeah, Merlin. But maybe we'll find out from him who Obalaye is later.
All right, very good.
Okay.
I am Elijah. Today, I want to ask some very pertinent questions to you because I think they are important for you to understand where God is. First of all, do you have to earn God's love? Is it something that you have to follow rules and regulations to get his love? Is it that you must chant a lot to find his love? Do you must praise him a lot to get his love? Is there something that is necessary for you to do to get God's love? The answer to that is no. God will love you no matter what. However, there is power in praise, there is power in love, and there is power that you can bring to the earth with bringing him through you. This is something of your self-will, your thought processes, your understanding of God. How do you think of God? Do you think of him as pure love? Do you think of him as not needing to understand, only needing to understand you and not needing to forgive you? Do you understand that? He understands you so well and so completely. He doesn't have to forgive you. If you know your child, if you know what your child is like, and your child spills their glass of milk, are you going to yell and scream? Are you going to be terrible about it? Or are you going to say, oh, here, dear, I'll help you clean it up. Here, I'm going to help you do whatever. But you're not going to punish the child for an accident or a mistake. And he's not going to do that to you either. Remember that he is there to help you, to guide you, to bring you into a greater understanding of who you are in this world. So he's not going to punish you for making a mistake. He's going to understand that mistakes are going to be made. Now, if you are purposely doing something negative or wrong, that is another story. We'll deal with that another time. But I want to tell you this. God loves you completely, fully, and without any bit of malice towards you. He understands you completely. He wants to know you even more. And that is where you come in. In order for you to display God to other people, you must be in contact with him. You must pray to him. You must praise him. You must know that he is going to help you. There is power in the contacts that you have with God. It is not just that he is there. It is he is there to be with you in every way. Now, he has taught me many things. I came from a very rugged past. And when I first came into view with everyone, I was very rugged, very sharp, very almost judgmental. But I was not trying to judge. I was just trying to bring you the word of God the way that I had brought it through 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. But now, in this day and age, there are new ways to bring things through. There are new understandings. There is a new kind of way in the world. It is not the same. It is advanced. It has become greater. It's become more intellectual. It's become more incredibly fast. And so therefore, I am here to tell you to latch on to God because he is there to give you the power and the information that you need. You will find it all over the place. He will help to connect you to all things that you need and all things that you desire. Remember, he loves each and every one of you, even though you may not sense that. Even though some of you say, I never felt the love of God. And that is because it's an experience. It is an experience that God will come to you in some way. All the gifts of the spirits that you have, you feel within you. And these are feelings of God, for he has given you these gifts. He has given you these things that you share with the world. And so you do feel him in one way. But I would like you to feel his love so closely to you, so inside yourself, that you are able to love him back the way he loves you, purely and without malice and without even any kind of knowing or unknowing. It is that it is just there. It is time for me to go. I had to choose my words very carefully today because I need you to understand the purity that he is and how true he is to each and every one of you. Please live in the positive. Live in the realm of greatness, because he wants to lift you up and make you the full person that is in your soul. This is what he desires for each of you. And if that happens, you will be happy. You will be amazing to the world as well. You will be confident, but not arrogant. You will be beautiful, but not without any kind of pride about it. You will want to serve, and you will be happy to serve, just as God is happy to serve you. Amen. I am Shawnee Ra.
Welcome.
I am the golden dragon that you speak of. Who is called?
I believe that's Wendy. Wendy?
Yes, that was me. Greetings. Welcome.
Greetings.
I was hearing the conversation of the group asking about what's coming up in the future. And I'm not sure of the exact context of that, but I'm wondering if you can give us any guidance over maybe this next year or the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, you must understand that mankind is in charge of everything. They have the will, they have that self-will to do whatever it is that they want to do. They are destroying the earth's weather patterns. They are destroying the earth in many ways with fossil fuels and different ways. And so they will pay for this with the weather changes. This will happen soon. If you notice that the Gulf Stream has slowed down and is not at nearly as much as it was, the slower it becomes, the greater hazard that is. It will become that the weather will become very bad for you. Weather will turn and become really quite dangerous. Also, with the weather becoming dangerous, it affects the earth in many ways. There will be more earthquakes and volcanoes. There will be more things that will happen to the earth because mankind is using his self-will to make himself wealthy, to make himself powerful. And he will pay for this because he is selfish And only 1% of the population has 50% of the money of all the world. Does that tell you about the selfishness there? They are not giving it to people. They are not really sharing it with people. They are now using it for their own will, for their own guidance. Oh, there are some of them that are philanthropists, but they're mostly not. But another thing is the axis. What it is with the axis is that it is off. And this affects the weather as well. This is something that mankind did not do. Mankind has no control over the axis, except for one way: underground nuclear explosions. With these underground nuclear explosions, they have shifted the poles a little bit. They have caused the Earth problems because they are causing problems under the Earth with the tectonic plates and things of that nature. If they do not stop doing that, they will have a major problem with the axis, because the axis is naturally wanting to turn because of electromagnetic fields from the sun, and because it happens every several 100,000 years. But mankind is pushing that forward also with underground nuclear explosions. And there is a great deal of concern with many of us out here, because we see what is going on with your planet and how mankind is misusing it in very many ways. And so the next 3 to 5 years may be very explosive in the sense that a lot of this will start coming back onto the planet, start ricocheting in and letting you know how badly mankind has misused everything that is on the planet. So it is time for you to start clearing things up. Pray that God will give you a great deal of help with this, because he is the only one that can really change the moving of the axis and all this pollution and things that are happening with the Earth that are causing great amounts of catastrophes. This last snow bomb that happened in the United States has not been seen for well over 300 or 400 years. At least not to the extent that it was. So you have to understand, this snow bomb is a sign that the Earth is cooling. It is actually becoming more cold than warm. Even though you feel the temperatures rising and there is global warming because of the atmosphere and the way that the sun is getting through the atmosphere, it is actually becoming more of a sign of an ice age, a sign that things will become colder, not warmer. So keep this in mind, that things are not as they appear. They are as very different than they appear, actually. You may think that you're safe right now, and you really are. But with this weather coming, who knows where it will strike? The hurricanes are getting greater, stronger. Tornadoes, stronger, greater. The weather forecast, the snowstorms, the rain in California at this time is unprecedented. How the weather is out there right now, windy and rainy, nothing can get through. It's flooding. And so this has not happened in California for a long time. Usually they're pretty dry, but now they're wet, very wet. And so you're seeing that the tides are changing, the times are changing. And so this is what will happen within the next futuristic time. I can't say 3 to 5 years, but I can say that this is your future at this moment.
Thank you for that information. Yeah, that's pretty intense. So some of us do work with the elementals, with land and with weather. Is there anything that we can do when we start to see these events to lessen the intensity of them or to change?
What you can do.
Yeah, thank you.
As soon as you see that these things are happening, come together and pray for them to be less powerful than they normally would be. I would want your prayer groups to come together. I would want your social groups to come together and pray together, because that is powerful. That is a way to keep things safe for you and your friends, family, and the people of the earth. You have noticed that just the most recent of these catastrophes has taken many lives. But before that, it wasn't. There was many lives spared. The aliens and those out here would try to help with the storm reactions and cause it to be less. But now they're so forceful that they have to get it right at the beginning, but for it to lessen. But even then, the way that the atmosphere is, the jet stream, and the way that mankind has produced weather anomalies, it is hard to even stop them in any way, because they are being fed with energies from humanity. And that is where the aliens back off. If they see that mankind has something to do with it, if mankind is doing this, then they have to back off, because that is something that they cannot work with. It's not natural. It's man-made, and so they cannot help with it. If it is natural, then they can help with it. But man takes the natural and makes it unnatural. So it has happened many times.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
Thank you. Okay, Safira had a question. Go ahead, Safira.
Thank you, Karen. It's great to have you back. Thank you. You answered part of my question was about the pole shifts. I understand that the flipping. I understand that we're about, 300 or 400 years overdue for the flip, and the ETs are the only things holding it back, slowing it down, I should say. The different ET groups that have been telling us since 2014 that they've been holding this back. You just mentioned that they can only hold it back, if they get it at the beginning. So thank you for explaining that. But what about the flip? Is that on the verge? Is that all connected to the Gulf Stream and all these things happening? Is that one and the same?
It's more connected to the grand solar minimum, which is a retraction in the sun's energy, but you'll get a lot of solar flares during that period of time. But the thing is, the grand solar minimum is causing it gives greater electromagnetic energy out into space. And the way that the Earth passes around the sun is what makes it want to flip. It's the orbit around the sun during a grand solar minimum will make the Earth flip. Now, when we get past this point of the grand solar minimum, which can last up to 40 years, when we get past that, then there will be no danger, because the electromagnetic fields will go back into the proper alignment. But the thing is about that, we don't know how long the grand solar minimum will last. And so we are helping as much as we can with as many energies as possible. But right now, the energies are still strong from the sun to cause the planet to flip. And this is why you're seeing also more dangerous wind and weather, is because grand solar minimum does do that. It does help to stir up the weather. And so there are many things in your world, in your understanding, that are causing all these weather-related and access-related things. And so with that happening, you have to understand, and plus the fact that with a grand solar minimum, you will have a lot of sunbursts out because they were just shoot out, and that affects electronics, technology, and things of that nature. You might find that one day everything is not working as properly as possible in your realm. Your phone might not be working properly. It might be bringing up pictures that you never wanted to see or didn't ask for, and different things in your technological areas that it will affect.
Okay, thank you for explaining that, because we are getting some pretty intense flares. And
Yes.
but you explained why that's happening in connection to the solar minimum. So thank you.
Yes.
So the flip is something that hasn't happened because the ET groups are holding it back, or just because?
Yes.
Is that what you say?
It should have happened already, correct. But with that happening, it would destroy more than 3/4 of the population. That is something that no one wants, except for there are those that do want that, but we do not want that. So the aliens do not want the human race to fall to that small of a population. In fact, it would be more than 3/4, I would think. Those that are underground might survive. Those that find their way into lower spaces in the earth will survive. And those that are in the outer ends of the flip, you see it just will flip right over. And those that are not in the central part of that flip at the ends will not get the greatest, they will still be very much affected, but they will less likely to die at the ends, because it's going to flip straight over if that's what's going to happen. So the areas that are just going like this at the ends, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And those people would be spared pretty much, because they would feel it a great deal, but they would not be experiencing the harshness of the flip, the flip that's going like this. Those in the middle will be wiped out, because they would probably, the earth would just be a great earthquake. There would be a great amount of wind. The wind would be, the velocities would be off the charts. Everything would be wiped out in those areas.
Thank you very much. I just saw graphic images of this, what would happen when this happens, yesterday, and it's quite severe, as you're explaining. So let's hope that it doesn't happen. It doesn't have to. Is there any way that it's never going to happen? Can we ever really stop it?
We're holding it in place as best as we can. It's moved a lot farther than your people, your scientists, would want to tell anyone on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So they will keep that as their a secret. They don't want rioting. They don't want people to be writing to them and being fearful, and because their time is valuable, and they don't want people to be screaming at them. So it is a lot worse than it might seem, but we are doing a wonderful job of holding it in place. We've actually backed it up about 3,000 feet, but that's really not that much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that work that you're doing with the other groups.
We're still working on moving it backwards, but we have to be very careful with that as well, because moving it at all, moving the axis at all, affects the weather. You no longer have an equator that's the same as the equator you used to have. It's offline. It's different now. So it's still the hottest place, but it's in a different angle than it was. So we have to be very careful when we move with the axes and all, that it does not affect the weather and the jet stream and all these different things to a great effect. So when we move that back 3,000 feet, you might not think that that's very much and it wouldn't affect the earth, but it does. It affects every time we move it.
Well, thank you. And thank you for Wendy's question, which precipitated this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions for you in this room. Does Angie have any questions in the chat that are relative to?
Let me take a quick look. What can you tell us about what the sun is doing in the coming years in question marks?
Well, the grand solar minimum is when you get a lot of solar flares, but yet the sun is irregular, meaning that it is not doing the work that it usually does. Hello? It's not doing the work that it usually does in a normal flame-like activity. It has been disrupted by something, and it is actually not even it's not even appearing the same. You used to have a gold or yellow sun. It's a white sun right now. Has anybody noticed that? It's a white sun. It means it's hotter in some way, because a white hot is better than a gold hot. But I don't know the thermonuclear description of that. I just know that it affects the earth.
Thank you very much. Is there a relationship between dragons and ascension?
There's a relationship between dragons and ascension, and every species and ascension. Let me explain that to you. Yes, all these species, dragons included, are helping the ascension as much as they can. They are coming to do what they can for energy. They are coming to do what they can for the people's understanding. They're sending messages in every way they can, by crop circles, by did anybody know about the message that was sent by light in 2012 and 2015, where they saw the light of 500 million suns flashing at the earth? This is also messaging the earth about the sequence that they're going through. 2012, 2015 makes 27. And so it is that the year 2027, something interesting will be happening. That is what they're telling you. But they're also telling you that they're sending people to your world. And they have these people that can do and harness this much energy are time travelers, and they are able to come and go as they please in some senses with the Time Lord's permission. They don't usually interfere with any planetary history or anything, but they do come and observe quite extensively. And so that is where the messages are coming, through crop circles, through sound messages, through light messages. Remember this: the sounds of the universe are very important. They must be understood, because as you can understand the sounds of the universe, you can understand all the messages that are being brought to you by other places. Yes, binary is another way that they are sending messages. Pictorial things, they're revealing things to you that have never been revealed to you before from the ancient past. It is a process that they are bringing to you that is bringing greater understanding to the earth so that it can be saved.
Thank you so much for that. Very informative. One more question. Do nuclear power plants negatively affect ley lines?
If they are directly on the ley lines, actually they do affect them, but it does not necessarily have to be negative. It depends on where they are on the ley line. So in the case of your planet, everything is all right with the ley lines.
Thank you so much for that. That's all I have here.
Okay, I have a question just from the news. There's a reporting that the increasing reports of non-identifiable flying objects. What are they calling them now? Not
UAFs or UAPs.
Yes, that's increased. And the Pentagon is especially concerned because they're flying around the nuclear plants, they're flying by the warheads, and that's concerning to them. Can you speak to what that means for communication for us about that?
Yes, it's actually a warning not to use any nuclear power in your world. They would like to see it go away. They would like to see nuclear warheads dismantled. They would like to see that there is no chance for the Earth to destroy itself. They do make themselves known around these areas as a warning, not that they are going to use them or not that they are going to do anything with them. They're just warning the people not to use these because this is what would destroy the Earth much faster than the way they are treating the Earth. But nuclear weapons will destroy the world.
Do the people that I mean, are they being given the warnings, or are they just identifying them flying around? Because maybe that's what they're saying, but they have
been given more messages than they say.
Okay.
They say they are concerned, but it is the aliens who are more concerned. The aliens have been around, we have been around for hundreds and thousands of years. Have we destroyed the Earth? Have we taken over the Earth? No. Of course, there have some reptilians that have come into office that have not done so well with it. But the thing is, most of us are not of that ilk to do that.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. Kat has a question. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, I also saw on the in CBC and NBC they keep bringing this UFOs appearances. Even more recently, I have seen these news repeating.
Yes.
Does that mean that somehow these news channels, they change their leaders, or
I do not. I don't know if they change the leader, but they have to report what everybody is seeing. If they don't report it, then everyone will know that they are wrong, because so many people have been seeing UAPs that it is the unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's what that means. It is that so many have been seeing it and reporting it that the news has to also report it. Also, you're going to see a great increase in UAPs or UFOs, whatever you want to call them. There are going to be a great many more, and the showings of UAPs is going to be dramatic in the future. It's going to not only be here and there, but it's going to be a much more dramatic showing, because they want everyone to know that they are there. They're not allowed to come to the Earth. That is something that they are not allowed to do, otherwise they would have done so already. They have come, and it's illegal for them to come, but still some come. But they many of them are following the rules and just showing themselves in the aerial view. And so in the future, there are going to be much more UAP showings, and the world will see a great deal more of them.
Is there any, what do you think would be the consequence of this?
The consequence is what they're hoping for. And I do not know what the actual consequence would be. I think that it makes your countries nervous that they see all these UAPs, and they're showing themselves in the United States and Europe, most of all, because those are the people, and Australia and places of this nature, and South America. I have to say, all the places, not so much in Africa as much, but they still are there. But the thing is, they're showing themselves because the people are wanting a first contact. More and more people are wanting first contact. So that is why they are showing themselves. And they are making those that say, no, they don't exist. They are showing them that they do exist. And they want people to be aware of them. And so the outcome of this, hopefully, is a peaceful reunion with the earth, because we used to be able to come to the earth, but now we cannot. And so hopefully it will end in a peaceful reunion with the earth, and you becoming part of the neighborhood of the galaxy and the universe. But if you're certain ones, such as the warlike people, that would be China and United States and Russia, if they decide they don't like UFOs anymore, that could be a bad thing.
Okay.
Which this can come through the media also.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
But I need to move on to someone else. We'll come back to you in just a few moments, okay? We need to. Okay, Braden has a question. Go ahead, Braden.
Can you give a light language blessing for good luck to our group?
Yes, for good fortune and good prosperity, for good health and for good nature, for all that is good, I will give the blessing. Nokwa. Aha. Ura. Yayi shunjendia. Freta. Onko or inde. Esivieti. Ua. Mahahuki. Hakinyam ya amja. Satato. Kwa. Apwa him yin yisivya. Pie. Indutievia. Kotre vrendovran. Utorun rea session. Nada. Bring people up. Nourish them with the proper information. Bring about a great love and understanding for one another and mankind. Love is the answer to all that is negative. You would not have war if there was love. You would not have pestilence if there was love. You would not have hunger if there was love. You would not have any of these negative things if people were to love one another the way they should. And so therefore, that is my prayer for you. Great health. Share it with others. Work with others and bring love one to another so that you may spread it throughout the world. Because it starts with one person and moves on to another and another. It may start with a group and move on to more people and more and more. So share your love so that the earth can change.
Thank you. And do dragons breathe fire?
Some of them do, and some of them don't. The ones from the very earliest realms of the fire universe breathe fire easily. But there are dragons from outside the fire universe. Some still breathe fire, and some do not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's all the questions that I had for you.
Very well. I shall bring someone else.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and your information.
Very well, thank you. Yeah. This is Grindel. One moment.
Welcome. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm all in. How you doing?
We're doing very well. Thank you.
I know nobody called me, but I butted in.
Actually, you were requested.
I was?
Yes,
Oh,
you
I
were.
missed it. I missed it.
Well, you're always welcome and requested, but you were specifically requested by Braden.
Ah, Braden. Okay. Thank you, Braden. I didn't hear it, but I knew I had to come for some reason. What is it that you needed?
Braden, did you have a question specifically for Grindel?
Yeah.
What is it the reptilians are doing for the planet at this time?
All right, they're doing a lot of things, actually. They're sending energy to the planet. They're actually meeting with galactic the galactic governments about this planet, because this planet is in big trouble, and we want to help the planet out of that trouble, but the governments are very stubborn about not wanting us to be involved, or any aliens to be involved. But there's especially negative toward reptilians and draconians, because they don't see us as positive. We've messed up some of the Zeta reptilians, and those have really messed up their thought processes about reptilians, because we are not all bad, but they see us as all bad. So we're trying to get that message through to them through the galactic government, that we are not just bad. And there are many of us that are trying to help them. So we're doing some governmental things to try to break through into some communications with them that might be helpful. So the other thing that we're doing is we're assisting the Pleiadians and the Orions and all those with the ascension process. Now, ascension is more, I mean, it's changed in my mind. The ascension process is evolution in many ways, but it's a spiritual evolution. And it's the kind of evolution that you need to see into the next framework of densities and dimensions. So it is that you need that very strongly. But there is also another evolution, the evolution where you have telepathy coming. You're starting to become more empathic. You're starting to see more, feel more when you walk into a room. Now, usually in the 1960s and 70s, when I would walk into a room when I was a soldier, I would not feel anything. I would not feel the tone of the room. It was not there. But now, if you will walk into a room, you can feel the energy of the room. This is because you as individuals are becoming more empathic. You are becoming more telepathic. little by little by little. You're also able to tell which people are giving off the energies that you're feeling. As you get near these people, you start to feel the energy of them. And this is moving toward a new evolution for your people, which will change the entire world, because when empathy and telepathy kick in to their fullest extent, you will become more calm, because you will realize that other people aren't talking about you. You will realize that other people aren't saying bad things, but they're actually just doing their everyday thing, and they're not really always thinking how bad you are or how terrible the world is or whatever. They're just doing their thing. And so that will calm the world down, and then it will bring happier thoughts to each of you individually, because you're going, oh, I thought she hated me, but she doesn't. I thought he was a real jerk, but he's really not. So it's going to change the way everybody sees each other. All right?
All right, and I have another question. What are your thoughts on DMT?
DMT, the drug?
Yes.
I think it can be helpful if you use it properly. I know DMT does not last very long. It's a very short psychedelic trip. But it is that many are using it to expand their spiritual understanding and expand their thought processes and see into the next dimension or next realm. And so if it's being used in that way, then it's fine. If you're just using it for recreational use, and you use it too often, DMT is something you should only use once in a while. You should not use that often.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you agree that DMT, when tied together with the plant medicine, is better because it's not such a short-lived thing, whereas DMT is more chemical because the chemicals have been extracted from the roots, and that whereas an ayahuasca journey is, hours long, DMT one can be in like 10 minutes.
Yes. But you remember that I believe it's DMT that is created in your own brain.
Right.
So DMT is what it does when it comes, even though it's a root-based DMT, it opens up the DMT that is in your brain.
Right.
So,
right.
And
but you extracted from the plant teacher of ayahuasca.
Correct. It is.
Yeah.
This is correct. But ayahuasca is a more profound, can be more profound.
Yes.
Whereas DMT will open you up for 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
And you can see many things, but holding on to it is more difficult because it's such a short trip.
Right.
Yes. But it does expand the mind.
Yes. Yes, it does. Okay, thank you. Safira has a question. Go ahead, Safira.
Oh, thank you. I was so into listening, I forgot that I might be coming up. Thank you. Hello, Grendel. It's Safira.
Yeah, hi.
Okay. One question is, there is a planet, supposedly there is a planet called Serpo, and many years ago, they sent, our Earth sent 10 astronauts to live there for 12 years and trade whatever culture, all kinds of things. But it's a theory. Do you know about that, if that really happened or not?
All right. That is supposed to be a something that is hidden from mankind, but they have sent humans to different places for cultural adaptation, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these places, they did not survive. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because They just didn't have the right. They didn't have the right equipment or technology or whatever to survive these kind of trips. Their trip to this particular planet was more successful, but they still have not returned. It's been more than 12 years.
Oh, I see. All right. But it did happen.
It did happen, but they have never returned from this planet.
I see. Okay. Thank you. My other question is this. Bashar, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and another spiritual teacher years ago explained that how do I explain this? The soul, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, can only really grow in a third dimensional environment. So we come to the third dimension to grow. And in other words, there's no growth in the spiritual realms. It's only on a 3D plane. Do you understand what I mean by my question? Is that true or not? Or what do you think?
And that is not true.
Okay.
There is spiritual growth outside of the third density. There is strong spiritual growth in the third density because it's experienced in a different way. It's experienced in a stronger way at times.
Mm-hmm.
And so the emotions of humanity are stronger. And so therefore they sometimes are more powerful. And so the growth is exponential in some senses. But yes, you can grow spiritually outside of the third density because there is so much to understand about the spirit that you cannot fully understand it in the third density. It doesn't go that far. You have to reach a higher density to grow even more.
Thank you. One last thing really quick. Is there a movement to reform the 2005 separation agreement, especially where spouses want to go live with each other from different planets? Is there any kind of reform about that agreement? Any changes coming up in that?
There is talk about it. There is talk about that and the reform because the governments have not been able to come to an agreement about the spouses agreement, etc. But they are going to try legislation to open up the separation agreement. I think that's what you're talking about. In the case of them opening up the separation agreement, that would mean that aliens will be allowed to come on Earth and humans would be allowed to leave the Earth again. And so this is being discussed in many ways in the galactic government, and also it's being discussed in other governments, not the United States. They will not hear of it. Canada does. Russia will. Germany is understanding, but Russia is like preoccupied right now. But Australia is a big advocate for taking away this separation agreement. And all of South America and Central America are all for getting rid of this separation agreement. So there are many countries that are going to go into discussions about this, and you could see a change coming.
That's exciting. Thank you very much, Grendel.
Yes, but it is still just in the talks. Nothing has been written down or nothing has been really affirmed or agreed upon.
Right. That's okay. It takes time, but hopefully soon. Thank you.
Some of them have to get off their butts and think about things better. They just don't, they're not thinking.
Yes.
Very right.
I always have a question about that with why would they allow spouses before they would allow the general public? It feels like they would have to do it all at once.
Yes, they'd allow spouses because they want to look at them and study them, how they interact, how they work together, how they want to look at it first before they agree to everybody in the whole world wanting to meet aliens. They want to study the couples that are married and see how they interact together, and then see if it's going to be a positive thing or a negative thing, or if they can chemically unite in some ways. So they want to do some tests and find out what's going on before they bring the whole world in on getting rid of the separation agreement. They want to test with these different groups and couples, because they want to see how they interact and how successful even a meeting of 12 couples together will be. Will they be fighting? Will they be very peaceful? How is it going to be? They want to see that first.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Kat has a question. Go ahead, Kat.
Hello, Grindel.
Greetings.
Hey, how's it going, my friend?
Yes.
What about the movie Walking? I know it was supposed to come in on December, no? Or it was the movie about your experience with the Walking.
Oh yeah, the Across the Ethers by Nivi Glicklick. It is not released yet, but it is in 2 film festivals so far.
Yeah, that's what I remember. It was supposed to be in December.
Yeah. Well, he is going to he has another film festival in London that he's going to go to. And there's other film festivals looking at the film as well. To be accepted into 2 film festivals is a big deal for your first film. So yes, it's a good 25 minutes long, and it's based on a true story, my story. So
yeah,
I
listened to the story when with the session with Jim, and it was really wow. The spirit of the reptilian spirit, it's like bold and powerful and expressing.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like
water.
I was impressed. The power that was coming from that story was really it empowered me.
Very good.
Second question.
Yes.
Second question. I don't want to be long here. Did I watched a documentary about Mars landing with those 2 rovers, Spirit and Opportunity?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seemed to be like the people that they were presumed, the people from the circle there, the office, they seem to be quite like artistic, like they seem to be more like actors. But I don't want to, did they really landed on Mars?
Yes, they did land something on Mars, yes. Now, the reason why they seemed like actors is because they weren't the actual people that should have been talking, because the actual people didn't want to talk. They wrote down the information and they read it and remembered it and stuff. So, but yes, it did happen. Yeah.
If they went, why I hear in the channeling circles, why did I hear that actually Mars is populated?
Population, yes, there is a population on Mars. And mostly it's reptilian, but there are humans there as well. But that does not mean that they didn't set down this thing on Mars to tell the people, yes, we can do this. The other part of it is all secret. This was public, so they did this for the public to know.
Well, so far it serves me. All these stories and stuff, it serves me anyway.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. I want to leave someone else to come here. I love you very much and look forward to talk to you more. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too,
you.
man. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Okay, who had the question next? Darren
Yeah.
had a
Dan.
question. Can you ask your question, Darren, yourself or not?
Yeah.
Darren, I can ask it if he can't. He's not unmuting. Darren, can you ask? Darren wants to know, did Michael Jackson largely have alien DNA in him?
Michael Jackson did have alien DNA, but I'm not at liberty to discuss that. Yes, he was not all fully human. That is true. I'm surprised that question came up, but you're right. Michael Jackson did not have all human DNA. There was some gifts, GIFTS, given to him from other alien sources, and it made him greater, but it made him more humanitarian, made him more able to connect with the people out of the love of his heart, which he had a lot of that. All right. Hello.
You would say his talent was alien?
No, his talent was real, but his outlook with his talent was alien. When he became older, he became a more philanthropist, more loving and talking about how to love each other and do all these things. That came from his alien connection.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Okay, Joan has a question. She says, why do we have to do ascension here on Earth if we can do ascension in the spirit world?
Because the Earth needs to survive. Humans need to survive. And if you just grow in spirit, that's not going to help necessarily the human race survive. And so you need ascension in a couple different ways so that the humanity will survive. Otherwise, they will have to take you off the earth again, those of you that are enlightened, and let the damage happen and then bring you back again. They don't want to do that again. They want spiritual evolution. They want mental evolution. They want the world to come to a peaceful resolution, one with another. So that has to happen in some form. And sometimes with spiritual, it becomes just one person's ascension to the greater light and different things, and they want to ascend out from the earth, and that's more of a personal thing. But there are groups of people that also want to ascend. That's helpful. But showing that you are caring for the earth and making the earth a better place, that is something that needs to be done also. But it can be done from a spiritual angle as well. But it most likely will be done by a spiritual and physical understanding, because you will have to be spiritual, but yet be able to show your light to the people, and so that it will make an earth kind of thing. You have to reach out beyond your friends and family to reach out into the world, to enlighten the world. So it can be done spiritually, but I think that it's going to be done in many ways. Okay, thank you. That's all the questions we have for you, Grendel, unless there's a question in the chat, Angie.
There are a couple here. Would you say that the creator beings, they put the word always, but do creator beings have the highest soul missions in life?
They have a great deal of responsibility. I wouldn't say they have the highest soul missions, and I'll tell you why. Because some of them were actually asked to volunteer, and those that were asked to volunteer will not have a high functioning mission, because they are just here to hold light and do some things to help the world, and be helpful one to another, but they will not have the great missions. Now, some of the creator beings that are here that really wanted to come and they know exactly what they want to do here, they will have the greater missions.
Thank you. That was very well said. Another question is, how and on what are ETs and US or other world governments working? What are they working on together?
The ETs are trying, well, all right. It depends on what country you're talking to as well. ETs can easily talk to the United States or easily talk to people in Chile or Argentina or Peru or Brazil or Australia, blah, blah, blah. But they can talk to them, but they're not always getting through to them what is really necessary for change to happen on the planet. So they do the crop circles and they explain them to, these crop circles are not made by humans. A lot of people say, I made a crop circle. If you made a crop circle, it probably looks like shit. So
sorry. Can I enjoy that for just a second? Let me laugh. Okay, thank you.
Because it's not the same as when it's done by the aliens, because they said, these two guys came out and said, we made all the crop circles. And so they said, prove it. So they made this crop circle. It was horrible. So it wasn't them. So because when a crop circle is made, usually the plants are thatched and pressed down and some of them have been exploded from the inside from microwaves and other things like that. So there are different ways to make crop circles and different species that do it. So if you lay down, if they pushed down the grass, but they broke it. They broke the grass. They caused it to be damaged. Whenever a crop circle is made by an alien, nothing is broken. They're sometimes thatched, and that area will grow 5 times greater the next year than it did this year, because the energy that was put into it, some sort of energy, will cause the plants to grow greater in the following year. And also the ones that are actual alien made, you can mow down all the grasses and still see the crop circle. You can see it in the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not part of like somebody tramping down and making a crop circle. It will actually show up in the ground.
Doesn't the governments, when there is a crop circle, that someone from, I'm going to do quote unquote, the government or a scientific area come out with a certain device, and if the ground around it, if they capture the energy from it, they know that it's a true, authentic crop circle versus somebody trying to make it?
There is a special energy to crop circles, but it's not that it's all the same energy. They can use several different devices to verify and tell you that it is a real crop circle or not.
But the governments really aren't going to tell you, oh yeah, we confirmed this is real.
But with a crop circle, you can tell when it's real. And let me tell you why. Because it will always have some kind of scientific significance to it. A lot of these crop circles, they recognize, they see what it is. And most humans would not know exactly what that is. But the governments and the scientists do. They see this and say, oh, that's a form of this. And then they bring up all their photography and stuff, and they can analyze it according to what they know that this symbol means. And it is always a symbol. And some of these symbols are very intricate. Humans could not do that in a crop field. And some of them are hundreds of yards long. And humans didn't do that. And so it is that the crop circles are in themselves a message. And they often deal with sound, these messages. They often deal with visualization. They often deal with technical terms or technical thought. They actually bring forth scientific things in the sky. They represent scientific things that are happening. There was 2 crop circles 20 miles from each other, but they represented what was going to happen the very next day. Something was sighted in the sky. These 2 crop circles predicted it.
Wow. Thank you very much. I have 2 questions left, one personal for you, and then another one for all of us. Do you watch Earth movies?
I try not to. They're shit. But anyway, they're not realistic, but to me anyway. But some of them
what about
are okay,
entertaining.
Yeah, they're entertaining for sure. A comedy, yeah. But no, there are some that are good. I really, there are some that are very good. So, but for the most part, I try not to watch too many. They're not very good.
Thank you. Do you know anything about Anunnaki giants waking up from stasis here on Earth?
There are Anunnaki on the Earth still. I don't know if they're in stasis. I have not been given that information, but I've heard that rumor, but I have not been able to verify that. That's all I'm saying. They are giants, and they are big people, very big. And Anunnaki are very intelligent and very bright. I don't know why they would be in stasis here. Because they could do a lot more good not being in stasis and working to help for the good of mankind. But perhaps there's a reason why the Anunnaki want to do that, but I don't believe that's a good idea. Because when they come out of stasis, what are they going to do? They're just going to scare people. So that's not going to be a good thing.
True. Very true. There's a question from Susan. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. So my first question is around, can you tell us a little bit about the Sasquatch and I guess their existence or role on the planet, Bigfoot?
They exist in several different species around your planet. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Yeti are all 3 different. So Sasquatch is the more reddish brown alien form. Yetis are very violent. They're the white, abominable snowman types. They're from a different place altogether. They're violent. They're the protectors of Shambhala, according to what I've heard. Of course, the whereabouts of Shambhala, a lot of people think it's a certain mountain. I forget which one it is, but there are a lot of Yeti in that area. So, and Bigfoot is the tamest of the 3. So it is the one that you see more around the wooded areas and things of that nature. There are Bigfoot, or I should say Sasquatch, down in Florida and in the swamp areas and things of that nature. They're better off down there. They like it better there. But they're very hard to find. They do not make themselves visible all the time. Only when they're doing research and discovery of the planet, deciding what plants and things, they're studying plants and animals. And so they are amazing beings. They have a very high pheromone discharge. So they smell very strongly. They have a very strong smell. The Yeti do not. The Yeti do not have that strong smell. but the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot do. Now, Bigfoot and Sasquatch, many people say they're the same thing, but that actually, they're in two different areas, and they are two different species.
So they have different origins, galactic origins then, and different, but do they have similar roles on the planet as far as
they're
working with Mother Earth and the beings of Mother Earth?
That is their primary role, is they work to help and understand the Earth so that they can maybe bring more information to mankind about what things can be used for medical use, etc.
Okay. And another question, so how, for those that live in the inner Earth, how are they going through the ascension process or the shift to 5D? How are they going about that? And
the interplanetary species that are here, that have been grandfathered in for a long time and are under the Earth, are waiting their turn to come forth. They're not even in third density, so they are not rising with third density. They are doing a different kind of ascension altogether. So but they do their own ascensions, yes, but they are not on track with third dimensional ascension.
okay, yeah, I should have said I expected that they would be in a higher dimension than the 3D. So
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Much love.
You're welcome. Yes, you're welcome.
Oh, okay. I had a question. And Braden has a comment. Braden's comment. Do you want to say your comment, Braden?
In Florida, we call them skunk apes.
Oh, yes. They have a very high pheromone output. So they smell very strongly. I was saying that.
We're in Florida. Is
Yes.
that over? Because I lived in Florida and I never even heard about them. So is it more towards like the center where there's more marsh, or
It's more swampy?
so more in the Everglades kind of?
They like the water areas, yes.
But not the ocean sides, more
No, more the internal swampy areas.
Yeah, because I was on the coast. I have a question. Are they terrestrial or are they extraterrestrial?
They are extraterrestrial.
Okay. All right.
Yes, all Bigfoot are, and in fact, they're trying to disprove they even exist, but they won't be able to do that completely because there are sightings that the actual Bigfoot disappears right in front of their eyes, and they're going, how is that possible? You know what I mean? So they are extraterrestrial.
Okay. I know that in South Carolina, we have something called pluff mud, which is real stinky swamp mud, but maybe that's not the same. If they smell anything like that, you don't want to smell it.
No, they're what they are releasing is pheromones for attracting one another, because their species at one point was dying out, and so their pheromones became very strong to attract one another into mating processes, so that to continue their existence.
So with them being extraterrestrial, but they are wild or not wild?
No, they are not wild at all. Okay. They're sensitive, actually. They will growl at you because that's their language on Earth. It's just like rah, but it's not. It's only to scare you off because they don't want to be seen. They won't actually hurt you, and they know Bigfoot has ever hurt anyone. But they will scare you off, or they will disappear, or they will scream because they're afraid because they've seen somebody and they don't want to really be seen.
Right. But do they have a clear understanding of who we are?
Yes, they have actually interacted with humans. So but they don't interact with every human. They interact with those ones that they know will keep their secrets.
I see. Okay. All right, perfect. And then Barbara asked the question, do reptilians have a smell
Um,
or a sour smell? She wants to know.
well,
Sorry.
some of them do, but most reptilians don't smell. I mean, they're very armored, and so every day, usually, if they're the positive reptilians, they take sonic showers, and they don't really smell, and even if they do smell, it's not very strong.
Okay. All right. So there you go, Barbara. We have, do we have any other questions in the chat, Angie? Because we don't have any here this moment.
Let me take a quick look.
The time's almost up anyway.
This one.
Oh, Kat has a question. Oh, go ahead.
So this one is a really good one. It says, would a major cross-class solar flare cause massive transformer fires in neighborhoods due to the oil in them and planes falling from the sky in the US? So can you talk a little bit, and are there any species helping, if there are solar flares, are there any species helping us help deflect them?
First of all, there's many species helping against solar flares. The first one is the Venusians. They do have a protective cover, a small cover around some areas of the sun pointing at the Earth. It revolves with the Earth, and the sun goes with the Earth around the sun a little bit. And so it will protect against major solar flares. But so far it has been less helpful than they had imagined. So there are others trying to reduce the solar flare activity of the sun, but that is a thermonuclear process, which I have no clue about. So I really don't know anything about that.
Okay. Thank you. Kat has a question.
Yes.
Kat, just for 2-minute question.
Yeah. Grindel, the war in Iran and what happened in the last years, is it because the Iran didn't want to join the cabal?
No. What the uprising in Iran is about equality and people wanting to be heard and seen and not treated like garbage, basically.
How about I know in Romania our president was back then when we were in communist, he was trying to pay all the external debt. Was that the reason why he was removed?
Yes, he was trying to do something that they didn't want him to do. Yes.
So that's the reason
yes. Whenever there's a very good leader, they usually try to get rid of him because he's going to be doing things for the people and making them look bad.
Well, that guy in Romania, he was kind of like a dictator, but he also wanted to get rid of the external debt.
Yeah, well, that makes everybody else look bad.
Okay. I love you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Yep, we have about exactly 5 minutes left. So if you want to leave us with a last message or a blessing, that would be perfect.
Me give a blessing?
Or someone that wants to come in quickly for a message or a blessing.
All right, I'll leave someone else do the blessing. I'm really not very good at those things.
Well, your blessing just to have you here, Grindel.
Thank you. I'm better at communicating. Yeah. All right, I'll bring someone in.
All right, watch your tail as you go out.
Yeah, that thing. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I am Samuel.
Welcome, Samuel.
I will give the blessing.
Thank you.
Tiria sanduarna karakoria vendi. Shira. Shanjira karavandu. Paraclito sua sundi visie pota. Canute, shusvariatiato. Urrenda pasasisia shenza. Omamor. Nisa suas vias amidietam. Adonai kuia diesemva. Adonai otiatu. Adonai noa. Kufis in divisias is ora nina naka. Batu. Gigashansi. I pray to the everlasting God that he would lift everyone up. Bring them into the spirit. Bring them into the loving that is all God. Let him know and let you know that he is there with you and will always be with you, loving you and guiding you, directing you. His will be done. It might take longer if no one is helpful, but it might be faster if everyone comes together in the spirit and in love and in unity. For you are meant to be a community of love, peace, understanding, beauty, wisdom. Be of good cheer. Always lift up your hearts in the mornings to God in praise, so that your day will go well and you will be happy and you will be loving and you'll be kind. Amen.
Thank you.
Hello.
Well, welcome.
Hi.
I think that's a good thing to do. We have so many people to give the blessing in the beginning. It's nice to have the being do the blessing at the end. I think that's beautiful. An archangel doing a beautiful blessing.
All
That
right.
was nice.
Good. Excellent.
And hopefully Shemuel can come back, and because I've never even heard of him before. So
He is an archangel, yes.
Yes. So beautiful session. We got to spend time with a couple different people, Grendel being among them, and his cute anyways. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Have a
So
great.
I just have my announcement.
All
One
right.
second. So Jim will be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
So we're back on schedule for you, correct?
So what is the date in 2 weeks?
January 28th. 25th.
All right, I'll be there.
No, am I wrong? I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
It'd be the 21st.
Yes, I'll be there.
22nd?
Well, that's okay. Wait. So January 4th. Today's January 14th. Two weeks would be. That's when the class is. So
28th.
Yes, the 28th. Jim will be back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The 28th. Yay!
That's my birthday.
Huh?
Show up, Jim. It doesn't matter the date.
That's Jack's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. We'll sing happy birthday
I'll
for
be
you.
here ringing it in with Jim during the day.
He's going to come back on the 28th. So hopefully we'll have sound for everybody then.
Yeah.
I can hear, but it's not at a high enough volume for me to understand what they're saying, but I know they're saying something.
Oh my goodness.
So
well, if you watched on YouTube on your phone, you could have turned on what is it called?
She said you could have turned on YouTube on your phone.
And done closed captions.
I don't want to create any unnecessary noise.
No, he could have done closed captions for the hearing impaired. And he just read the comments. Yeah, understood. All right. So thank you for everyone. Angie has an announcement.
Yes. So speaking of the class, we have our next online Hukalo class scheduled for January 28th and 29th, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Our instructor will be Chris Krishna Priya, and she will be teaching the class of Tarot Mastery. If you're interested in that class, please email classes@hukalo.org. I will get the registration form out to you, or answer any questions that you may have. Again, that is the Tarot Mastery class, Saturday and Sunday, January 28th and 29th, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, $150. And Krishna Priya has just a thing to say about that.
I do? Oh, well, just.
Well, you were like.
Oh, I was just moving. My wrists ache sometimes. My wrist around. I guess everyone is welcome. The one thing that is required of the class is that you do have a tarot deck there with you during the class, and pick a deck that appeals to you. If you can get one at any bookstore or on Amazon. If you need a recommendation, I recommend the Rider-Waite or the Thoth Tarot. I prefer those. Those are the ones I use, but anything that appeals to you. Also those are the two I would recommend. Those are the cleanest. And as far as all the symbolism and everything, I'm certain is included in those decks. So
thank you so much, Karen. Great session today.
Thank you,
Jim.
Thank you both for doing the work there on the hosting. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So we will see you in 2 weeks, Jim.
Yes. And
sound will be ready. We could hear you just fine, so we have no complaints on your sound.
Okay, I know, but yeah, I wanted to be able to be heard in the room too. So, all right. Have a great day, everybody. Much love. Gotta go.